Hello everybody and thank you very much for watching. This is me, Mr. P. Let's carry on setting up our Raspberry Pi server plus Samsung DeX. In this episode, we'll show you how we can automate backups, how we can create increment backups, and how to automate all this using a Dietpi-Cron settings. First thing, let's connect to our Raspberry Pi server using Termux. I'm going to type SSH root and followed by IP address of the Raspberry Pi. Enter the password once prompted. I think I entered password incorrectly. Yes, I did. So let's try again. Here we go. I'm successfully logged into my Raspberry Pi. So we need to set up a couple of things. First of all, we need to create ourselves a script that will run automatically on a cron timer. The script needs to be put in a specific location inside the Dietpi-OS file structure, and that location is inside cron.daily. To navigate to this folder, cron.daily, you need to type cd /etc/cron.daily and press enter. If I list the content of this folder, I'll have a lot of scripts here. By default, you will have 4. The fifth one is my manually create a script, which we will use to automate the backup system. For you to create a new script, you need to type nano and then file name, and you can give whatever file name you want for the script. Once you get the new blank file opened, you will find the script line by line command in the description section of this video. You just copy that script line by line and paste into this file. You can paste by click and hold inside the Termux window and just selecting paste, which is going to be here in the middle of as an option. So once you've done that and pasted the script, your file should look like, or your file content should look like something like this. Don't change anything in the first line. This must be entered in this way for script to run. Next comment is basically just letting you know that you need to run chmod space plus x plus space file name to make this file executable. Otherwise, the cron task will not run this script. So right now, this is a script. Simple line by line, I'll let you know what's happening. First line is basically script will automatically navigate to this location where my backups are located. This will obviously going to be different depending on your setup, but if you're following my video since first episode, you pretty much should have a similar file structure. Second line is removing the most oldest backup, which in my case will be folder free, and it's just saying that remove -r means this is a recursive and it's a folder, so I want to remove free. Then mv means move, so basically that means that convert folder 2 to folder 3, then move or convert folder 1 to folder 2, and then run a backup. Backup needs to be, or backup, initiate the Dietpi backup. You can use this command, which is boot /Dietpi/Dietpi-backup space 1. This will start backup system or backup process automatically in the background. Once the backup is done, the script will use the command touch, which is basically creates a blank file with a name inside the folder 1. And I'm using this because this is going to be my most recent backup system, backup version. And this inside creates the file with the file name having a date stamp and a timestamp. I'm using this just in case if I want to go back, it's going to be much easier for me to know when the backup run, what day and what time, just to easier for me to reference. And once that is done, the rsync script, which is basically mirrors the file from a source to the location, will mirror everything what's inside the mount SSD Dietpi backup. That's why I'm using star, and it means wildcard. It means everything in this folder needs to be mirrored inside this location. So basically mirror everything from this location to this location. And this is -A, capital A, and then X is just saying that the mirror exactly line by line everything with permissions, literally byte by byte, all the ones and zeros needs to be mirrored exactly like 2 raindrops to have versions, exactly the same copy. Then --info equals progress 2. This is just to show a progress in case if I'm running this manually, and I'll show you that in a second. And --delete, this means that if something changed inside the source file like server-backup, I want that to be exactly mirrored inside this location inside the external hard drive. So when the backup runs and the new backup missing some files that are because I deleted, I want the same files to be deleted inside the mirrored copy. So once you've done all these edits and you're happy with the file, you press Ctrl X, then Y and enter. And then type chmod plus x and enter your file name that you gave to this script. In my case, it's going to be server-backup, so that's what they're doing, chmod plus x server-backup, press enter. Next thing, what I need to do, I need to slightly amend my Dietpi backup location. In the script, as you saw, I'm using the folder 1, my most recent backups. So I need to go to Dietpi backup, press enter, navigate to locations, press enter, then manually press enter. And this is how it was before. I'm just going to enter number 1. That means that backup system needs to automatically create a folder with the name 1. So it's going to go in mount SSD server-backup 1, press enter, cancel, press enter, exit, press enter, and OK, press enter. Next thing, type Dietpi-Cron, press enter. And right now under cron.daily is set to run at 5 a.m. I'm going to press the enter on that. And right now it's 20:48. I'm going to say 20. And then minute is going to be 50. Press enter. Select apply, press enter on OK, then exit, and then select OK, press enter. Now, if I'm navigate to my location where I store the backup, so it's cd mount SSD server-backup, press enter. So currently this folder, as you can see, is empty. So if we'll type watch.ls, which is basically checks the folder and runs the command ls on that folder every 2 seconds. So as you can see, it's 20, 49, and 14 seconds. I set the cron to run at 20 and 50. So 20 hours and 50 minutes. So let's wait for remaining couple of seconds or so, and let's see if the cron runs automatically. And 20:50. So right now what's happening, the Dietpi-Cron runs my script automatically. It moves the folders to it removes the most oldest folder and moves all the backups by one place. Runs a Dietpi-Backup, and once the Dietpi-Backup is completed, it creates a file inside this folder, and then runs the rsync command, which mirrors exactly all the backup folders from one place to another. And while I was talking, the number 1 popped up. That means that my backup had run successfully. To close this window, I need to press Ctrl X or Ctrl C, sorry, not Ctrl X, Ctrl C. So right now, if I'll list the content, I have a folder right now 1. If I'll go inside this folder, I have the folder, which is called data, and I have a file created with the date, timestamp, a date stamp, and a timestamp. So it's run at basically 8th of November, and it's run at 20, 50, and 22 seconds. So that means that cron started at 20:50, because I know it started 20 hours, 50 minutes, but 22 seconds means that the actual backup took about 22 seconds to run. This is not a big deal, but on my other Raspberry Pi server, the backup takes about 3-4 minutes. So it's just, this kind of timestamp is just good reference for me to go back and see if everything works fine. Now I can run the same process instead of using a cron manually. Just let's say if I want to do something, or I'm planning to do a big changes, I don't really want to go and start messing around with cron. I just want to prepare all this just to have a backup, just in case if I'm next 20 minutes or half an hour, I'm just going to spend on this system. If I'll do something wrong, I'll have a backup instead of rolling back all the way to the like midnight or 5 a.m. backup. To do that, I need to go into cd etc cron.daily and run this file. Because we run chmod plus x, lowercase x, and then like this command previously, this file becomes executable and this cron can run. And that means that because this file is executable, the user of the system, like you're going to be a user of a system, you can run the script manually by typing / and then writing the file name, which in my case is server-backup, and press enter. And that's what's happening in the background. That's what's happening in the background while cron was running. It was creating a folder, which is here, and here we go, backup is already done because it just takes no time at all. But let's finish this and explain to you what's happening one by one. Actually, while it's running, I can do now. So it goes and creates a folder if it doesn't exist. So make dir space dot -p, creates a folder with the number 1, and then does all the movements. As you can see here at the top, it says cannot remove free because it doesn't exist, because we just done a fresh install or fresh run of these incrementing the backups. I can run the script again. Let's run one more time. So right now it says you cannot remove free, but previously it was giving me 2 errors. So let's run one more time. Okay, it's done. So it's gonna rsync right now is running in the background, which means it's moving all the backups to external hard drive. So what I'll do now, I'm gonna run one more time, and I'll be back when I have 3 versions of the backups. So I should have actually 3 versions of the backup. So if we're gonna navigate to cd mount SSD server-backup, as you can see, I have a folders 1, 2, and 3. So if I list the content of 1, I list the content of 2, and I list the content of 3. So folder 1 has a data folder, which is containing all the backups, and a date stamp, which is 20:53 and 25 seconds. Then one before that was 20:53 and 1 second, and one before that was 20:52 and 20 seconds. So right now I have like the most recent backup and the most oldest backup. And if I'll navigate to mount SSD, Dietpi user data, let's go there, Dietpi user data, external, then drive, then say server-backup. This is external hard drive that is connected to Raspberry Pi. If I'll list the content of this folder, I have the same folders because I set up the rsync command to mirror the backups from one location to another. Because with the backups you should use the rule of thumb, basically that is 3-to-1. You need to have 3 backups at 2 different locations and 1 backup outside your house, just in case if something happens, you still have this. In my case, I'm just doing 3 and 2, which means I have 3 backups at 2 different locations, which is internal storage and external storage. So right now, if we'll navigate to mount SSD server-backup, I have these backups, 1, 2, and 3. So let's say this is a Friday's backup, this is Thursday's backup, and this is Wednesday's backup. I don't want to back it up to Friday's backup or Thursday's backup. I want to use Wednesday's backup, which is going to be the latest one. So I'm going to do list 3. Let's say this is a Thursday's backup. How to roll back to this instead of basically rolling back to yesterday's backup or day before. You want to go to the oldest one. To do that, first of all, let's make sure that number 1 being replaced to something else. To do that, you need to write move 1 to copy -1. So for list that, right now 1 disappears and is being replaced with the folder. I just basically renamed the folder from 1 to say copy of 1. And I'm going to say move 3 to 1. So just swapped around. So I basically made a space for number 1 again. I moved 1 to become copy of 1, and then I moved 3 to become 1. And right now, if I'm going to go to Dietpi-Backup, press enter. If I'll select restore, the system will check, oh, great, there is a folder with the number 1. Do you want to restore this? I'm going to say okay, press enter. And that's what's happening. It's going to use that folder to restore my system to not yesterday or day before, but 2 days ago. Obviously, I run 3 backups one by one in like that gap in a couple of seconds. But let's say you just have 3 oldest days. And like always, once you restore, I highly recommend to reboot. So while it's rebooting, I'm going to just ping the Raspberry Pi to get notification once it's back alive. Here we go. I'm starting to receive successful pings. So I'm going to go SSH back into Raspberry Pi. And my Raspberry Pi has been restored to the backup that I chose manually. If I go back into mount, SSD, then not Dietpi user, but server-backup. Let's say I went through a system, I checked what I wanted to restore is fully working again, everything is fine, no problems at all. I can write remove -r and say copy. That means I'm just completely removing the backup. 1 and 2 is right now here. Let's say I want to go into etc.cron.daily and run the server backup again. So my manual backup finished. If I'm gonna go into SSD server-backup, so I'm back to 1, 2, and 3. So from list number 1, then list number 2, and then list number 3, I can see that this run at 2058, this run at 2052, and this run at 2053. So my oldest backup, which is folder 3, is actually in the middle, but this datetime and date stamp and timestamp helps to track it down what's what. Another thing I want to quickly show, just in case if you say 3 versions of the backup is not enough, I want to have more, I can go inside the etc.cron daily, then nano my script file, and where it says remove 3, I just add more. I'm just going to say move 3 to 4 and remove 4. So I just made 4 versions of the backup instead of 3. If I want more, you just add another line. So say 4 becomes 5, and I want to remove 5. So I'm going to have right now up to 5 versions of the backup. So I hope this video helped. I probably should mention this in the beginning of the video, but I'm not a Linux expert. I can't tell you that this is what I'm showing you is the most efficient way to do backup, but it works for me. It's basically saved my ass a lot of times with my other Raspberry Pi server just because I'm not a Linux expert, so I was messing around. I've done so many silly things that the system crashed. So this versioning of the backup helped me a lot. So I just refined the script slightly to work for me, and so far so good, touch wood, everything works fine. And finally, next video we will start setting up the Docker, the Portainer and containers that will be used with Samsung DeX. Anyway, if you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed what you just saw, click like and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And if you have any problems regarding Samsung DeX, you can join our unofficial Samsung DeX support team inside Samsung DeX subreddit group. You will find a link to that page in the description below. We just recently crossed 17,000 members, which I just still can't believe that we're growing so fast with the members count. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in another episode. Goodbye.